Show, great to have your company. Been a very big week for the Collingwood Footy Club, Jim. More bad news on the injury front, more of that later. But tonight, Damien Barrett catches up exclusively with Leon Davis, and he tells us for the first time while he's not in fact playing for Collingwood this year.
Yes, and Gary, we've got a legal managerial stoush involving one of the hottest prospects in AFL footy. We'll tell you who it is and what it's about.
Logie's always a big night, Jim. Not that big for us this year, but we're always very interested in Sam Newman's thoughts. We'll get his review on the big night.
We've got an international man, Gary, from another country who's heard about how hairy you are and wants a piece of you. He sent something to us.
Can't wait for that. Street Talk. Sam catches up with an old adversary. Plenty on. Let's get into it.
To the Footy Show. Big crowd, nice and pumped up in the Docklands area tonight. It's fantastic. Panel time, because we got some of the best in the business about to wander down that catwalk there. Let's start with the Tigers. Their two-time best and fairest winner, Brett Delidio's here, ladies and gentlemen. And from the Blues, who are flying, #1 draft pick, Bryce Gibbs. Essendon, one of their all-time greats, Matthew Lloyd.
It's a very big panel, ladies and gentlemen. What we need to do is keep the applause coming because the 300-game superstars in ripping form, John Sammy Newman. Nice to have your company in Forster. It's a very big panel in place. Got a lot to get through tonight. A lot of news kicking around.
Very big panel. You know, could I just ask you this? You know our friend, the intrepid and the investigative reporter that is called Damien Barrett. Now, I don't know the man that well. I'm an acquaintance of his.
I've worked with him for 3 years.
But I don't know him. I don't go out to dinner with him. And he's a friend of mine, but not a close acquaintance.
Right.
He's either extraordinarily brave.
Why?
Or he's extraordinarily stupid.
Why?
He's opened fire on Viscount Rear Admiral Brigadier Maguire. The boy's obviously got a death wish.
They have had some
What's
exchange
going
of
on
words over the past couple of days. Looking forward to getting old Damo out here to find out what that's all about.
Oh,
and lots kicking around about the Collingwood Footy Club too. They've been in the news.
Is there?
Haven't they ever?
Oh,
hey? Mick and Eddie and poor old Nath just stuck in the middle.
Nath. He's handled himself well, Nath.
Very,
no matter what
well.
you think of the boy.
Full of class.
Fantastic.
As is this man. Please welcome Bryce Gibbs here. What about the Carlton Footy Club? Always nice to come in here when you're in good form, Bryce, and personally you are, but since you've been at the footy club, have the Blues ever gone as well as they have in the first 3 weeks? Or are we getting a bit carried away?
No, I don't think we've started the season off 3-0 for a few years now, so it's always nice to get off to a good start and get the season up and going.
And also a rare luxury, Gary, have one of the great inside mids able to slide off half-back. Are you ever going to get a slot in there, or is the talent that heavy that the #1 draft pick's just got to do his time off the back line?
Yeah, it's pretty tough to get in there at the moment. Depth's running deep into the midfield at the moment, so it's just got to bide my time and help out back on the half-back line, but we've got some guys coming back. Nick Dygan, obviously, last week, and Michael Jamieson, so hopefully I can sneak up in the midfield maybe this week.
I followed it closely, the game, Bryce. 32 disposals. Where did you get most of them? I know, actually, because I followed it, but where did you think you got most of them?
Probably kicked a couple to myself off the full-back line and played on a bit, but yeah, it was nice to get my hands on
9 marks. Any in a pack at all? Or?
Probably not, no.
No, you did. You took a few in the pack.
Yeah, a couple of Kentuckies in there.
Kentuckies, Gary.
Kentuckies.
Would you call them Kentucky?
Well, that's the modern lingo there for us. You've got to get up with it. It's not so long ago that young Bryce was running around as a young man, and we always like to ask the mums of our panel members to send some photos into their playing days. Now, the beautiful Mrs Gibbs, we're not sure she got the whole gist of it, because these are the photos she sent in of young Bryce. This is, this is him as a, I'm not sure what he is, a young Jim Dean there.
Have a look at that.
And that was a bit worrying, but this is more worrying. Nice bracelet there and the pink setup, I think. What were you doing there, Brycey?
Definitely wasn't a Mad Monday, that one, but yeah, Mum got a little bit excited by the looks of it.
We also got a photo of you with your fantastically famous dad. Of course, Ross played an enormous amount of footy for West Perth and also there for Glenelg, and a superstar in both the Waffle and the SANFL, and there you are running out with him. Absolute legend in both of those codes, but we've been waiting for you, Brycey, to head back into this show because a story came across our desk, fair to say, Gary.
Extraordinary story.
That your dear old dad, who played a lot of footy after his time at Glenelg, went back to, I think, Victor Harbour in the country footy leagues in South Australia, and had 99 goals to his name. Now, correct me if anything I'm about to say is incorrect. And as he was going to go and kick his 100th, he wanted to be the first ever player to kick 100 goals nude. So he took all of his clothes off and then was ordered off the ground for taking too long to kick the ball. Is that true?
Sadly, it is true. Yeah, probably deserves him right that he got left on 99 goals and got kicked off the oval. But yeah, I was at that game, and
proud moment.
He said to me, he goes, look, whatever happens, I used to sit behind the goals and collect the footies once they've been kicked through, and he just said, look, whatever you do, don't tell anyone at the ground that you're my son. I didn't know what was going on, but when it all unfolded, I realised why.
For Victor Harbour, he kicked 2 bags of 30, didn't he?
Yeah.
2 bags of 30.
30 goals in a game, Foss.
Oh. What was your most, Foss, in a game?
Did you call me Hoss?
No, no, I've just been watching Hasselhoff, so I might have got a mix up.
Yeah, you called me Hoss. Well, I don't like to.
Come on.
Well, I don't like to brag.
Yes, you do.
No, I'm not going to tell you on 18.
Hey, I reckon this man might have kicked a few back in Kyabram in his younger days. Brett Delidio from the Richmond Footy Club. Open the account against the Demons, which is not great for me, but good for the Richmond Footy Club. Nice to get a win under the belt.
Yeah, certainly was, Gaz. We struggled against the 2 top sides in the Blue Baggers and the Pies, but lucky enough to get the win under the belt against your mob, and some boys played some pretty good footy, which was good. And
you got a little spring in your step too, Brett, because first time we've seen you since a 5-year deal was minted, so everything's going okay?
Yeah, everything's going good, Jim. Yeah, still down at the Tigers for another 5 years,
nice.
So wrapped to be a part of it, and looking to hopefully play some finals and taste a bit of success that we haven't had for a while.
And the most pressing issue that Brett's got at the moment is this little puppy dog that he's bought in recent times. What's going on down there? It's giving you a bit of grief?
Yeah, little Boris, mate. He drives me bananas at home. He's chewed the crapper out of me pool cover, but other than that, he's going pretty well. I'm training him up. So.
Hey, Brett, and it's great of you too to send in some vision or bring in some vision of your little dog at home.
Lloydie!
Just ripped out a little zinger.
Come on, Lloydie. What?
Hey, since I've moved to 9, Bill, Brownless, Shane Crawford got the better of me.
Didn't you get the memo that it's never to be shown again, Lloydie? It's just going down.
Boris, come on.
Not yours, Liz?
No, mate, that's not Boris.
What sort of dog is Boris?
He's a little staffy, yeah.
Well, Lloydie's to assume the resident comedian's role, so while you're on a roll, Lloydie, take us through the first one we're looking at, and that is Carlton up against Essendon on the weekend.
We've got the Carlton Football Club, 3-0, as you said, nearly into premiership favouritism, and Armfield's out. It's a huge loss for Carlton. He's playing the best football I've ever seen him play, but Brock McLean been banging down the door at VFL level, 32 disposals and 2 goals last week. Deserves his chance, but so much depth through the Carlton side. And over to the Bombers. Also, another team at 3-0, and some of their big names are firing. Joe Watson's going great guns, and also Michael Hurley looks good at centre forward. So a couple of changes. Del Olio through the Waffle. He's a goal sneak. He makes his debut, so congratulations to him. But injuries are really crippling the Bombers at the moment, Gaz. So it's hard to say, but I think the Blues will be far too good.
Before we get a tip from these two boys here, now, is it true, I don't know whether this is right or not, that you may have floated the idea that perhaps Essendon don't go over or with this game with all guns blazing, given that they play the big Anzac Day clash next Wednesday? You didn't suggest they perhaps throw this,
I didn't say throw it, Gaz, but I think they're in big trouble. I think that Carlton are going too well, and full strength, I reckon they'd struggle to beat the Blues. Whereas Collingwood, it's a different proposition 4 days later. I reckon Michael Hurley, who's had soft tissue injuries, and Fletcher at 37 years of age, I think they did have plans to rest Fletcher, but with all these injuries, they've just had to play him this week. But I was of the mindset that one of those two players should be rested and come in all guns blazing for the Pies 4 days later.
That's a highly provocative comment there, the suggestion you're making there.
It's all, instead of losing two, Gaz, I reckon come in for Collingwood. They've lost another two players, so even more so I reckon it should be an option they could look at.
Ooh, geez, that's what you get with Matty Boyd here. I don't know how that's going to go down. In very good form, the Blues, Brycey boy. Now, what are we thinking on the weekend?
Yeah, it's pretty tough a selection at the Blues at the moment, which is, great for us, very, very healthy. Can't take away anything from the Bombers though. They're still 3 in zip and going to be a tough game no matter who they throw out on the park. But it's great to see joint major sponsor Hyundai going to be donating $1,000 to every goal kicked for the Stephen Walder Children's Cancer Foundation. So
that's excellent news. It's nice to have 1,000 from them, but Nissan Navara are giving 10,000 later in the show, the opportunity, Brycey. So
as generous as they are, they're not quite as generous as our lot, Nissan Navara.
Who's winning, Billy? They're Blues' new flag favourite.
Yeah, Blues' new $4 flag favourites. I'll be interested to see how Jared Waite goes after his performance on Wag Nation last night. So, Blues far too strong for mine. They'll get up comfortably.
I was leaning towards the Bombers, but after the Saturn Hammer has just told us that they'll just be almost conceding the game in preference for the Anzac Day clash. Let's hope they don't get fined for not playing on their merits. Do you think they might run a risk of throwing the game? What?
Geelong did it all year last year. They just left players out in the long run, and we saw a few years back. Fremantle, round 22, didn't take most of their team over to Fremantle for the following week. So it's happened before.
Later in the year, though, Lloydie, this is a controversial call at round 4.
No, it's not.
Anyhow,
I think that when you're 3-0, you can afford to make these decisions.
Oh, gee whiz. Complacency coming in too.
Anyhow, I did say last week, Gary, I didn't tip Carlton because I said we need to just wait for them to beat someone and then we'll tip them on their merits. So we're tipping them on their merits because they're up and about and this man is leading them from the front even though he's playing at the back. And we'll go for the Blues.
I think the Blues are going to win and win very comfortably, unlike us at the Logies the other week.
What happened?
Samuel, what's going on there?
Well, incidentally, it was great coverage. Did we do the Logies?
Yes, we did.
9?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, very well done.
Best ever.
Well, it was. Wouldn't
Best
matter.
ever.
That's what I thought. I wasn't there. I fell ill at the last minute.
Oh, did you?
I did. No, I couldn't
what
go.
cost you?
But I want to congratulate you two and the people behind the scenes for a virtual Logie we won. What? We won a virtual Logie. Well, the award that we were in, the category...
This is not sour grapes, is it?
Not at all.
You sure?
Look, Gary.
What?
We've been here for... We're not... So I'm just telling you... I'm just telling you a truism.
All right.
The category we were in was called Most Popular Sports Program. That's what this is. This is a sports program, along with our other competitors on the other networks.
World of Sports and Before the Game and that sort of stuff.
That's what this category is called.
Yes.
But someone who won our category won it for the most popular sports coverage, which is a completely separate category. So if the so-called intelligentsia who distribute the awards want to hijack it and not give credit to people who put sports programs on air as opposed to cover sport, well then so be it, but at least have the decency or the honesty or the integrity to not insult us or our other legitimate competitors and give it to a proper sports program, not a sports coverage.
Okay.
The sports coverage was the next category that was given out.
That's right.
Well, that was ridiculous.
Well,
so we Our tracking, my tracking, indicated that we won by a street.
Tracking.
The most popular. My tracking. My sources tell me that we won by a street.
Let me
the
say,
most popular sports program as opposed to the most popular sports coverage.
we had our table there, and Matthew Lloyd, the new boy at Channel 9, was firmly ensconced in the family, and mixing shoulders with Lauren Phillips and all the heavyweights. But at the minute that there was a Channel 10 Grand Final coverage that actually won, the minute they won, Lloydie off, scampered, and this is the result. Straight over, got himself a photo with his old colleagues.
Howie?
Well, it's not much loyalty there,
Hey,
Force.
there's a couple of reasons for that, Sammy. The first one is we were meant to meet as a team, Footy Show team, at 4 o'clock, and we were meant to walk the red carpet as the Footy Show team, okay? I turn up at 4, gets to 5, no one else is there, gets to 6, no one else is there, and Gary had a room at Crown with the whole team there, bar me. So, so number one, I walked the red carpet on my own, and then once Channel 10 won the award, James and Gary just sat there with their lips hanging down, their bottom lips just dropped, so I thought I might as well go join the 10 boys again.
Incidentally, this is nothing against 10, and I'm sure it was a great coverage, the grand final, but if there's not a game played, they got no show. We actually, along with our competitors, we actually put a show on every week.
Before the game, they put a show on every week.
And that's right.
Now, it wasn't...
our competitors and the Sydney Footy Show.
Lloydie...
Well, that's not a point well made. It's just
not
clearing some... Well, let's not labour it, but we won the Logie.
Lloydie on the night wasn't the only one doing some star rubbing. Our man Gary, once he heard that in the after party the flow was in the house, hunted him down with his iPhone and said, "Give me a piece of the flow." Look at that.
That was at Flo's after party.
Was it? What time of night was that, Gary?
It's 2 the next day.
Was it?
And I know this would be stating the bleeding obvious, but that is Flo Rida, which is Florida.
Yep.
Flo Rida. Yep. That's how he got his name, Florida. That's where he's from.
This is the Foster Zinger.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No, it's not.
It is.
Next year, we're going to introduce this man, Frank Ston.
No!
Now, I don't know why I do that, I don't know why I do that, because every time I go to Frankston, I nearly get the living suitcase kicked out. It's a great place, Frankston. We love it.
And that was a great joke. A nice, crisp one to finish the
and
segment.
next week, Ken's going to be on Tucky Fried Chicken.
Plenty more still to come on the Footy Show.
Tonight on another massive Footy Show, Leon Davis reveals the real reason he left Collingwood. Plus, we catch up with Ross Lyon on the eve of his reunion with the Saints. Remember this fan of the Force from last week?
Sam Newman, I cannot stand him.
Well, Sam returns to Carlton to try and win her over. And what about this guy? Stay tuned for a huge April development. If this amazing stuff doesn't win us a Logie next year, nothing will.
Thanks to the mighty Nissan Navara, of course, and Home Timber and Hardware, Australia's only proper hardware store. Now, let's get stuck in. Let's get stuck into the big one. This game, of course, Friday night at Etihad to kick off round 4, and it involves the Saints and the Fremantle Dockers. The Saints belted the Dogs last week by 63 points at this venue, and no changes. Look at Dempster dominating there with the points, but they're playing very nice football, St Kilda, as we take a look at Fremantle, of course, now coached by Rossi Lyon. They sit just outside the 8, haven't beaten the Ross Lyon coach Saints for 5 years. Plenty riding on this one. Duffield and Pearce getting the points done. Valentine back in. And Lockie Neal from Glenelg, Bradley and Mellington head out of this game. Now, let me just very quickly turn to something here, Gary, before we get our fine panel's thoughts on this. Just quickly, with Ross Lyon returning to Melbourne to face the Saints, of course, Centre Better running an hour of power tomorrow from 3 to 4, offering $5 for 3 of Ross's former gun midfielders, Lenny Hayes, Brendan Goddard and Nicky Dowell, to collect 80 disposals or more between them. The max bet's $50, and it's for the first 100 clients only. So there you go, that is the bet. $5, Hayes, Goddard, Del Santo, 80 disposals or more between them. Centre bet, don't just watch it. Now, Lloydie, let's start with you. Friday night, Etihad, what are you thinking?
The Dockers haven't beaten the Saints since 2007 and they just don't win in Melbourne, Sam. Lost all 6 last year, so you can't tip them. St Kilda play Etihad well and I think they'll be too strong tomorrow night.
Should be a good game. Hope St Kilda beat them up this week because we got Freo next week. So it's good to see Lenny Hayes get back to his best. Picked up about 30-odd touches last week and cracked in. So I think the Saints.
Yeah, I think the Saints will be far too good again. They, like Lloydie said, the Saints have beaten the last 8 times they've played. So, you know, back here at Etihad it should be a tight one, but the Saints for mine.
What sort of reception, Sam, will Ross Lyon get from the St Kilda faithful, do you think, when he walks out onto the ground?
It'll be congenial.
Do you think?
I think it'll be convivial. Yes. Everyone will be cock-a-hoop, tickety-boo. Now, I was going to tip St Kilda, but I heard, now I don't know if this is true or not, I heard that they were resting. Several of their players for the round 14 clash against Hawthorn. They're actually going to try and save themselves because they reckon that's the biggie, because Hawthorn, they reckon, will be in a grand final, Gary.
So who you
And I was going to tip St Kilda, but I reckon there's several of them. Tell me why Lenny Hayes,
BJ
Goddard and Nick Del Santo, why couldn't they, about 8 times removed to a cousin and a granduncle, say put $10,000 on us because we're going to kick the ball to one another to get over 80 possessions.
Well, first of all, because they're upstanding young men, they'd never do that.
Oh, I see. So we're relying on the honour system, are we?
Of course we are.
Now, why couldn't they do that?
They wouldn't do that.
Sam, it's a high-pressured game of football.
Exactly. They've got to get the ball.
They mightn't be playing, mate. They might be rested.
It's an interesting bet. Hey, all the talk is around Ross Lyon's return back here to Melbourne and also against St Kilda and what sort of reception, as the boys have said. But as Damien Barrett caught up, Rossi Lyon's still got a very close affinity with the St Kilda Footy Club.
I'm only human, and probably to leave behind significant player relationships, and in particular with the core players, is huge. I do reflect, but I also haven't got the luxury of sitting around contemplating too much. I certainly need to get in and work incredibly hard, and I'm really determined to make it work. I've got a really strong resolve. We want to write our own story here, and like I did previously, we want to write our own story with the player group and as a club.
When you reflect on what happened, and particularly that week, would you have done things differently?
Based on the circumstances given, I'd do exactly the same thing again. I feel I was fully committed, couldn't have worked any harder to try and deliver, ultimately fell short. And, you know, nothing but respect for my time at the football club, and I think both parties are happy.
Lenny Hayes and Nick Riewoldt were amongst the guys you personally spoke to that night when you made the decision to leave St Kilda and come to Fremantle.
Yeah,
just
and I wish I'd have been able to get to a couple of others.
Yeah.
And, you know, if Brendan Goddard I spoke to as well. Those two were the extension of, philosophically, you know, the work and the leadership, and along with a lot of others, Goddard and Montagna and Milne, and I admire all of that group, and nothing will ever diminish that.
April 20, round 4, St Kilda versus Fremantle, Etihad Stadium. How are you going to be that night? How tough is that going to be?
Do you think the Saints boys will be trying?
I reckon they might be.
There's Ross Lyon with Damien Barrett, full interview on the Sunday Footy Show. All the talk's been about this, but I think they've moved on pretty quickly. Scott Watter's doing a very good job for St Kilda, and I think the Saints might get up over the Dockers.
Friday night football we'll be watching with great interest, as we will right now, for Sam's mailbag.
He's a good man. Ross handled himself well too.
He did. Yeah, it was a big story at the time. It was a very dramatic story, and time heals all wounds, doesn't it?
Time is a great healer.
Thanks.
Will I do that line about my mother-in-law? No, and she's a blue healer. Now, this is from Astrid of Dalesford. John, are you a lonely man?
John.
I sense you are. Here is a verse that may inspire you. Now, this is
She
Silly
thinks you're
Ashton.
lonely, Force.
What?
She thinks you're lonely.
She thinks this will inspire me.
Righto.
Don't marry a person that you know that you can live with. Only marry someone that you cannot live without.
Oh, that's very nice, Force.
That's nice.
Here's another adage which I've followed religiously on marriage. Now, I'm going to give you a tip how to make... Now, this is before you're contemplating marriage or going out with someone.
How's this going to go?
No, I want you to just consider this. Never marry anyone that you don't want to spend a third of your life in bed with. Just think about that. You spend 8 hours at work, 8 hours leisure and 8 hours in bed. And if you're in bed with someone you don't like, it's a hell of a long life. That's true.
You'd have separate bedrooms.
Hey?
You'd have separate
Oh,
bedrooms.
separate bedrooms? Well, then that's okay then. Then that'll be a childless marriage.
The odds.
Unless you can convey the goods down there by hand or something. What you talk about?
There are very few topics Sam's actually an expert in. That is one of them.
From Tanya of Yarram Bat. Hey, Grandpa. Good on you, Tanya. Next time the Velvet is on... I like the satin hammer's good too. Next time the Velvet is on, can you show his first time on the panel? I remember him looking adorable and I also have a kick-ass look-alike of him. Now, this is the Velvet's first time on...
Sammy, I was down St Kilda one day and I thought I could have had a good cameo there. You were on the rollerblades, with the tight shorts, tight singlet on. Thought Roland was behind you, but you're looking pretty fit round. Do you rollerblade a bit round St Kilda?
So let's get this. You're going to be a smart ass too. So, Tanya sent a look-alike of the Velvet in, and this is it. Now, this is Tanya sent this in. She thinks that looks like the Velvet. You know, but spiky hair and chiselled nose and little devious eyes. Look at them, like bullets.
What about...
Let's have a look at you in action, mate. Come on. Give it a smack. Go on. Smack the old... Go on.
Not the Velvet.
Come on, Velvet. Give it a belting. Get this. Come on. Smash it. Watch out in case... That's it. Well done. Well done.
It's a little dangerous. Yeah, he hadn't changed much, has he? Still in very good shape.
Fact, he hasn't changed at all.
Sounded like I was on the helium though, didn't it?
Yeah, they had the plums.
Yeah, that's right. I think the plums had gone right down as...
he hasn't changed at all, whereas you've changed.
I was hoping you wouldn't pick that up. Tom Cruise, he looks like.
Yeah,
Tom Cruise.
Good-looking man.
Well, I don't know. He looks like Tom Cruise.
Oh, I think he's a good-looking
Tom's
man.
good-looking. Boris of Melton. Sam, you push one of the old ladies...
No.
No, you pash.
Yes.
Sam, now I'll just start this again. Saw you pash one of the old ladies last week and thought I'd better send in this. Oh, yeah, now have a look at this. It is a safe sex ad from the US.
Come on. Samuel, what are we doing? Oh, no.
What is that?
Oh, no. Horse.
What is that?
Come on.
That is a safe sex ad for seniors because they say STD, you know, sexually transmitted diseases, is rife amongst seniors. You know, the old conga line smelling of urine and all that.
Is that actually true? How are you going?
Well, there's just a couple of positions that Isabel, where are you? This is the woman from last week that I... as a public service.
We are not
if
doing
you could just adopt a squatting.
If you want to be involved in Sam's mailbag, this is what you're
just
going to do,
adopt
right?
a
Sam's mailbag, GPA box 9. No. Melbourne, Victoria, 3001.
Just possibly.
Sam's.mailbag at 9.com.au, footyshow.com.au.
Let him have a go.
No! Isabel, great to have you on again.
If Isabel could just squat
No,
down.
we won't. No. Plenty more still to come, including Damien Barrett. Welcome back to the Footy Show. This is the edition of Australia's most powerful trading and home timber and hardware. Australia's only proper hardware.
But look at him.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Look a little dishevelled for us.
That was holy mackerel.
You right? You Vic?
Not 1 ounce of fluid.
Composed now or not?
I know, I'm right.
Okay, well, what we need to do is just
Sorry, Ben.
sit back, take a couple of deep breaths, because when there's news around, then there's only one man to turn. That is the #1 newsman in footy. Please welcome Damien Barrett. Hey, mate. Always, as we said off the top, it's always a big week in footy when the Collingwood Footy Club are in the news, and they have been. They went down by 10 goals to Bryce's boys, and since then there's been exchange of words between the president and the ex-coach. You've caught up with a man that also was in the news at the end of last year.
Yeah, Gaz, that man is Leon Davis, and he has tonight bought into this Collingwood saga, and he's revealed that he would still be at Collingwood if Mick Malthouse was still at Collingwood. We've been trying to get hold of Leon since he left the club last October, and that was after his 2011 All-Australian form of that particular season. We just wanted to find out why he did leave, because there's been a lot of stories flying around. As you're about to see, there was a fair bit going on behind the scenes, more than what we were led to believe by certain people who claim to be close to the story. Davis spoke pretty openly and at length to us when we caught up with him in Perth during the week, and we're going to present this story tonight in 3 stages. We'll start with the answer to what he thought of what he made of Collingwood's low financial offer to him to stay a Pie in 2012.
Yeah, personally, other blokes might have stayed under those conditions, but for me personally, look, I had a lot of persuasion within myself to come back home, and it was something that I was always going to do after footy, is come back to Perth and whatnot. But yeah, look, for some others it would have been okay for them to take that reduction, but for me, I wasn't comfortable doing that. So yeah, I made the decision to come home, and I wasn't happy to stay there with the contract put on the table for myself.
So the offer was significantly less than he was getting last year.
Yeah, it was, Gaz. He was on significantly more than $300,000 in 2011. He was asked to take a contract that was going to get him about $200,000 in 2012. But we'll move on from the contract situation to the Mick Malthouse situation, and as we know, the replacement plan for him to be replaced by Nathan Buckley. In what we're about to see now, Leon addresses what the Collingwood players were talking about and thinking of the time in that transition from Malthouse to Buckley. He also, when you see this grab here, his first response is a response to the direct question, would you still be at Collingwood if Mick Malthouse was at Collingwood?
It's a tricky one. I'm pretty confident I would be. Like, Mick's always made me feel welcome, and I'm not taking nothing away from Bucks and the rest of the footy club, of course. They've always been great in making me feel welcome down at the football club. But yeah, me and Mick sort of had that special bond where he took me in as a young 18-year-old when I first got over there, and really did make sure that I felt comfortable and welcome down at the club back then. So yeah, look, in answering your question, I'm pretty confident that if Mick was still around at the Collingwood Football Club, there was a pretty good chance I'd still be there, yep.
When it was mooted last year, Leon, during the year, that there were some players who were even contemplating going to the board to try and get Mick to stay. Can you take us through what your take on that situation was?
Yeah, look, I can only speak for myself, mate. I always wanted Mick to stay and coach on. I'm not taking nothing away from Bucks and his aspirations of being a league coach. Look, I just had a great relationship with Mick, and you know, of course, being one of the all-time greatest coaches ever, you know, I wanted to see him stay on, and obviously stay on at Collingwood.
So is he saying that he would have stayed had Mick Malthouse retained the coaching job or even as the director of coaching?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, Gaz, that it would have been just staying at the footy club. Coach, he is what he wanted him to be.
Regardless of the contract that was offered?
No, I think the contract comes into play too, because he did say, as we saw in that top of the interview there, that it wasn't financially viable for him to stay. Now, he went back to Perth, not to stay there ultimately, but to contemplate his future, and they were the reasons he ended up staying in Perth, because of the contract and Mick. But we'll move on now to what Collingwood has been saying for some time, and that is that Leon had left for reasons other than footy. And Eddie Maguire was saying that as recently as this week on his own radio program on Triple M. We'll get Leon's take on what Eddie had to say during the week. So we'll hear Eddie first on his radio show on Triple M. Leon was aware of those comments before we got to him in Perth. We played those comments back to him, and then you'll hear Eddie's version first, and then Leon's response to it.
I was in the grand final room after the game. I may not have been in the match committee room, but I actually watched the footy. I spoke to Leon Davis. Leon was going for every other reason other than football. Let me tell you that. And whether Mick was going to be there or not, I don't think it would have made any difference whatsoever.
Yeah, look, obviously it was fresh after an AFL grand final, and yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on, and the disappointment of that. But yeah, look, my memory's pretty fuzzy on what happened after the grand final and the game after and straight after the game and stuff like that. So yeah, look, I'm not too sure if I did or if I didn't. I can't recall it.
Leon Davis there being very diplomatic in his response to that question. He certainly told several people who have told us that there was no such conversation, Gaz. But as you can see, a whole lot more going on behind the scenes than just simply Leon wanting to go back to Perth for family reasons.
Lloyd, I'm going to ask you, what have you made of the week in the Collingwood Footy Club and the situation they find themselves in? Nathan Buckley, new coach, injury problems, Wayne Carey's floated an unrest amongst the playing group. You've had Mick, who's just doing his job as a paid commentator. How have you seen it all? Yeah,
I think that most people in the industry would say that it doesn't surprise them, that this was bound to happen. I think that Mick, you could tell towards the end that he would have loved to have stayed on. Whether that was the case at the time when he signed that contract, he probably wouldn't have thought that they'd win a flag and lose a grand final. I think that... But they both had their say, I think Mick and Eddie, and I think come Monday morning, or when it was all said and done, I reckon they both probably regretted some of the things that they'd said, and I think the one that's come out best is Nathan Buckley. I don't put much credence on Wayne Carey's comments at all. I think that there's a lot of players that don't love their coach that they've got, but that doesn't mean that they go out there and just roll over and don't play for the coach. I think that there's some, say for example, Swan and Tarrant and those types. They're polar opposites to what Nathan Buckley is, but you'd expect that they'd be professional enough to just go out there and do the job. I think the big question mark on Collingwood is their hunger. I was part of a team in the year 2000 that lost one game. We lost the grand final in 01 and we lost our way, we lost our hunger. We weren't doing the little things that we should have. And I'm watching Collingwood against Carlton on Friday night. I saw exactly that. I love Dale Thomas as a player, but I saw Armfield want the ball more than him 2 or 3 times. And I've seen that from a number of Collingwood players. So I think that's more their concern. None of this other aspects that's going on. Their side issues, it's more Carlton wanted the ball more than them the other night. And that's the main thing. That's their biggest issue at the moment.
Oh, the Saturn hammer, hasn't he? Just isn't he a star?
Very nicely said. Very nice.
Speaking of...
Saturn hammer.
Speaking of rifts, of course, Foss, you discussed it right off the top, but our man here, Damo, taking aim at one of the great sort of powerhouses in the AFL.
Well, I'll declare my allegiance. I'm a very good friend of Eddie's, so I like Eddie. He's a great man. No, I know that. I'm just saying.
What, are you throwing purple under the bus?
Yeah, I'm about to. The great man who created this show, he did create this show. He said you should be off it. You should know. Is he safe?
He's the #1 man in footy.
No, I know that. Is he safe on the show? Because you know who said he should be off.
Oh, he's staying.
He said he might. He said.
No, he didn't like the opinion I expressed, Sam, that he may want to put a use-by date on his own time at Collingwood, and that's fine. He can have a crack back. But I did notice he didn't want to address this Collingwood issue on his own TV show on Sunday night. He just chose to
back it over.
Well, he had a chance, Sam. It was his own TV show, and he chose to overlook it or missed it.
How would he do that?
Well, it was brewing.
What, he interview himself?
It was brewing. The story was brewing.
Jim, get off the chair. So is this how to go, is it? Welcome to EMT. I'm Eddie Maguire, and I have the Collingwood president, Eddie Maguire. Hello, Eddie. Hello, mate. How are you? Good. Tell me, Eddie. What's going on at Collingwood? There seems to be a rift. Now, don't start that rubbish. He said there's no rift at all. And I'm telling you. I mean, is that how to go? Yeah. Hey? Come on. Is that how to go? He said you're on drugs. Would you be drugged if we took out the back? Could you actually give the bottle a bit of a testing?
We'll give it an A and B sample.
Are you on drugs at all?
We'll give the A and B sample, Sam. And,
would you like to be on them?
I might need to be.
It's all the strut and custard, the business.
Oh, really. I'm sure you said that nearly correctly.
Yeah. What did you say?
Thrust. Not the thrut and cust.
Thrust and cut.
The thrut and cust.
Thrust and cut.
I'd like you not to ever say that again.
Hey, we're going to leave that one there because there may be another chapter in it, knowing how everything rolls in this business. Well, you mentioned off the top, or Jim did, about a potential rift between player managers and maybe that a potential #1 draft pick coming up.
Yeah, footy's next big thing, Gaz. Lockie Whitfield, a guy you know very well. He's a Dandenong Stingrays player and almost certain to go #1 in the draft. He's caught up in this really ugly legal stoush involving Stride Sports Management. Now, quickly, he has been signed up by Ned Guy. He's a man who used to work for Stride Management. He's now gone to work with Alex McDonald, another guy who used to work for Stride Management. Those guys are being alleged by Glenn Archer, who now runs Stride Management, that they are poaching players, allegedly poaching players from where they were formerly at Stride Management. Lockie Whitfield, who's got enough to worry about being carrying the pressure of being the #1 draft pick most likely, is one of these players in concern, and he will be dragged through the legalities of this whole process, as well as several other senior players. But yeah, a bit of pressure on him already, and now there's more with the legal issues surrounding Stride.
All right, Damo, well, you've handled yourself beautifully here tonight. Thank you very much for that, Damien Barrett. As we move on from news to Collingwood, who take on Port Adelaide, Brett Delidio has this one.
Yes, Jim. Big game here today. Eddie had a couple of big outs in Luke Ball, Ben Reid, Cameron Wood, Dale Thomas, Heath Shaw, and a couple of big ins actually as well. Benny Johnson coming in, Simon Buckley back in, young Jackson Payne, Seedsman and Young as we go over to Port Adelaide. Another couple of outs here for Port Adelaide. Matty Thomas has been omitted. Jack Redden's been rested. Cam O'Shea omitted. They've brought in the big ruckman from Hawthorn, Brent Renouf, Michelle Pfeiffer, and big Johnny Butcher's back as well. So should be a nice close game there at Port Adelaide with a couple of key. At Etihad Stadium with a couple of key outs.
Who are you tipping?
Tipping the Pies, mate. But very close.
Yeah, I reckon not many will tip Port Adelaide this week, but I think they can cause an upset. There's some pretty big outs for Collingwood this week, and Collingwood's out of power. Might have a win. They've been playing all right.
Woody, anyone rested for Collingwood this week?
Well, no one will be rested. They'd love to, Gaz, but I just want to show they can't take a trick, can they? No. And at rehab, JB, have a look at some of this vision. Luke Ball. He's limping away. He's just done his knee, and Bucks is just trying to protect him. So he just thought he'll do a bit of slight rehab here. Bang! Straight into the knee of Luke Ball yet again. So cannot take a trick. But I reckon the Magpies just. I agree that it's got a lot closer. But being in Melbourne, they should get over the line.
Daniel?
You would be joking.
Big chance, Port Adelaide. Are they? Yeah, I'm going to tip Collingwood, but now that Shaw's out and also Dale Thomas...
They're resting him, Gary, you know that as well as I do. This is almost a Greater Western Sydney affair, this.
No.
What?
No, Fossil. Port Adelaide are much improved.
$7.75 they're paying Port.
Bucks is playing $7?
No, Port Adelaide.
Oh, sorry.
Bet odds.
Sammy, how have you rated Port this year?
What?
Could you name me 5 Port players?
Oh, don't be stupid.
Good question.
Well, they had a great win first up.
Yeah.
Name 5
Who'd they beat?
Hey?
Who'd they beat?
Who cares who they beat? Well, does it matter who they beat?
No, it doesn't. Could you peel 5 off just as a matter of interest?
Who's got a drum roll?
Just as a matter of interest.
No, I couldn't. Well, I could.
You could.
I could.
You know one of the brothers? One of the famous brothers.
Bro.
Who?
The Bros. The brothers.
Well, there's only one there now. But
yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Cornsey.
Cornsey.
Yeah.
Cornsey.
Who else would you
Gavin
know?
Wanganeen.
No.
Gavin Wanganeen.
No, he's finished.
Russell Ebert.
I reckon Jim might struggle with 5, actually. They may not be household names, but I can assure you they are a much improved side, and it'll be a very good game, but I'm still tipping Collingwood. Now, me just say the big Anzac Day clash is always a massive occasion here, and it's fourth year VB's again contributing $1 million, if you don't mind, to the RSL and Legacy as part of the Raise a Glass campaign. Now, with Anzac Day coming up next Wednesday, VB asking you to raise a glass for a service person, whether it be a relative or a friend or even a soldier that's been in the news. VB wants us to honour their contribution the Australian way. It's backed by General Peter Cosgrove and Bree Till from Legacy. VB's Raise a Glass campaign supports Legacy and the RSL's care for the service community, and it's something everyone can do to show their support for the troops. So for more information, all you've got to do is head to the website there at raiseaglass.com.au.
Very well done. Now, Samuel.
Yes.
Alluded to this just off the top, and
this is extraordinary.
Every now and then, really good stuff just drops into your lap. This man here, this is April, we're in the middle of, by the way, and this man, shut up, Gary. This man here has come to our attention. He had that shaved into his body, of course, with the arrow down to the plummal region. That's into his back, the angel's wings, and a nice mullet. This man, Gary, lives in South Africa. Heard about this. Oh, no. Heard about this.
Of course he did.
Wanted a piece of this.
Yes.
Got his iPhone out and said, I want to record a message to send all the way from South Africa to the Footy Show here in the Docklands in Melbourne for his old friend Gary.
Now, how did people know this? How did he know about the show?
I think he has Australian either parents or relations. He lives in South Africa. They contacted him, Gary, and said, send us back something on the iPhone. So that's what's happened, and let's take a look at it right now.
Gazza, my man! Mate, you got hair down there and you just don't care. Me too, bro. Check this out. This could be you. Look, I'm so stoked that you want to look just like me because I've always wanted to look just like you. On the stretcher, mate. So, when we get to 500,000, it's going to be a close shave, Gazza. Around your nipples. See you at the end of the month, Gary, because Anton's coming down under. Stay hairy.
Gary, I tend to believe it, Gary, because that's a South African accent.
His name's Anton Taylor. That is fair dinkum. You heard about it?
No, we're just bringing the tally because you know what happens when it gets to
500 likes on the Facebook.
500?
500, yep.
You didn't have to get to 500.
Facebook.com.au/AFL Footy Show if you want a piece of
this. We did this last week. We're having another crack at it.
We need to get to 500, and when we do, Gary will have his body shaved the same way as Anton. What did you think of Anton, by the way, Gary?
He's shy sort of a man, wasn't he?
Did you like how he rolled? All right, we're over 300 at the moment, folks.
Now, where are we?
We're over 300 at the moment.
Over 300, well, up we go.
Bring it up, there it is.
Pretty sophisticated.
We're not quite that high, but...
well, that's 300.
Yeah,
no, all right. No.
A bit high.
Hang on, shut up.
And, Gary, next week, we will have a real charge at 500. So get on. Facebook.com/AFL Footy Show.
That's it. Next game is a big...
Gary.
Very big game for both teams. Melbourne take on the Western Bulldogs Sunday at the MCG. The Demons were in the contest up until half-time against Richmond, then got run over, went down by 59 points. Jeremy Howe played a very, very nice game. Grimes is out, Martin's been dropped. McDonald, Maloney, Pettard. Tom Couch, the son of Brownlow medalist Paul Couch, is on the extended interchange now. So good luck to Tom. Play the Western Bulldogs. They went down by 63 points at Etihad Stadium last Saturday night. They didn't have a great night at all. Brian Lake out with a suspension, and Clay Smith, the young man, with general soreness. Sherman, Austin, Vespremi, Wallace and Dixon come into the side. Desperate stakes for both sides, Lloydie. I tell you what, I wouldn't like to be the losing side here.
Well, it's a tough one to pick because both teams' form's been so bad, but I think that Just being honest, guys. But in terms of, I think the Western Bulldogs midfield is stronger, and that will help them get over the line, Ross.
Oh.
Come on. Yeah, both teams obviously looking for a win. Good to see former Blue Boy and my housemate, actually, Mark Austin, get in the squad there. So hopefully he can get picked this week, and I think the Bulldogs will win.
Come on, Brett.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bullies as well. It seems Matty Boyd's taking his own footy along to the games. He's continuing to just rack them up. He's going extremely well. So, Bullies for mine.
Samuel. While you do the jacket thing, this is, of
Gary
course...
told me I've got to wear this every time we speak about Melbourne. Go ahead.
This is the Jim Steins tribute round. Of course, celebrations start at 3:45. Darryl Braithwaite will be heading the entertainment. Guard of honour, of course, including the Steins family, past teammates, other club legends. And the D's jumper, Gaz, will have a green clover leaf on it, which will be terrific. So we're very pleased with that.
Now, Sam, come on. Give this some thought. Is there any way, I know the three learned gentlemen over there, but is there, give some Demon supporters some hope, please.
Well, by Jove, Gary, we were...
Don't be an idiot. Just give us
hard lines last week for the lads. We were chatting over a snifter of brandy up in the long room, and some of the lads were saying it was a capital performance. But I can't see us... not doing that badly. I mean, goodness gracious me, Biggles.
Biggles!
Algae, Tank Tinker.
Righto, listen.
No, Gary.
What? Listen.
What?
I'm about to give you the tip here.
Oh, God. Oh.
And you know I don't tip from the heart, I tip from the head.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
No, I do.
Hey, no, I agree.
I think Melbourne can win this game. I do. They've got a forward line now, Brett. The forward line against Melbourne, I think, took 7 marks to 1 last week. Mitch Clark, Steph Martin, J. Mar, Jeremy Howe. And the back line in James Frawley kept Jack Revolt quiet and Tyrone Vickery quiet as well from Jared Rivers. So it will be a midfield battle.
So they won, did they?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And they haven't been playing well, but I think their forwards can kick enough goals against the Western Bulldogs' depleted defence.
Well, splendid. Nice. I'm with you.
Wonderful. Well, I also need to say this very quickly. Balls for life. Now, they're auctioning signed match balls from this game. I think all round 4 games. So all the balls used in round 4 are going to be signed, and they'll be auctioned off, and all proceeds going to the Great Reach Foundation, of course, which Jim was an integral part of. Go to ballsforlife.com.au for all of those details.
All right, as we go to the break, Gary, requests already pouring in from not only around Australia but from around the world to see a little more of Anton.
Yeah, the stretcher.
So we thought we'd just give you another look at Anton, and the Facebook is there for you if you like us. Just have a look at the screen here, Gary. I think you'll enjoy it. Plenty more still to come, including Sam meeting the lady who last week had a crack at him on Lygon Street in a ripping edition of Street Talk. But now it is time for the next game, round 4. Sydney take on North Melbourne at the SCG Racing.
Yeah, one of the matches of the round. Sydney started very well, 3-0. Big omission, Goodsey suspended. Be a big loss for them. CB, Armstrong, Cunningham and Tommy Walsh comes into the squad. Kangaroos. Big win last week against the Cats. They're up and going. Tarrant, Greenwood and Garlett come into the squad. Should be a good game. Sydney are always tough to beat at the SCG, so I'm going to tip them on that.
All right. Going very nicely, the Swans, Lloydie. Just snuck under the radar.
Unbelievable. They obviously, Goodsey not being there, Sam, is a great help for the Roo boys, but he didn't do much in round 2 against Freo either, and they still won. So I love Reid, Hanbury, Parker, Jetta, Rowan, the young blokes. So as good as your boys are going. At the SCG, JB, I just can't tip them, sorry.
Gary, finding some love here, Lidge.
Yeah, I'm going against you as well, Jim. I think Joshy Kennedy's form has been outstanding over the last 3 weeks, or the first 3 weeks of the year, so the Swans for mine.
All right.
Jim.
I think everyone tipped against us last week.
Yes, hearty congratulations to you. And I
I got lots of kicks.
What?
I had plenty to do with it.
Oh, well, hearty congratulations to your side.
Thank
there.
you.
No, you're fantastic. And I think only the Sydney Cricket Ground saves the Swans this week from a very stellar performance by your good self. But I think the Swans, Gaz, started well, haven't they?
Yeah, they're on track. Their membership's up. They've wiped $1 million off their debt. They're going nicely, but the Swans will beat them on the SCG.
Yeah. Kangaroos for mine. North, we need to quickly mention this. North and Sydney play this week for the Heart Kids Cup in honour of course, Glenn Archer and Swan skipper Jared McVeigh. Heart Kids focuses on childhood heart disease, which is one of the greatest killers of young Australian children under the age of 1. It's something that, of course, touched Jared McVeigh and his wife Clementine when they lost their beautiful 1-month-old daughter, while Glenn and his beautiful wife Lisa's daughter Madison, their eldest daughter, has had 3 major operations on her heart since 2007. So it's a serious condition. I think this is a great initiative. Visit heartkids.org.au to donate or to get some more information.
Nicely said, Jimmy. Now, last week Samuel did street talk and he said the world's going to end. So he said this is the year where he's going to overcome all of his fears and do the things that he never thought he'd be able to do. The Nissan Navara, Australia's most powerful trade, he jumped all over this. They're going to give a local club the chance to win $10,000 if one of us will overcome our fear, if you've actually got one.
Yeah, I got
Have you?
Yeah, I've got plenty.
It's called the power of the mind. That's what it's all about. Power of the mind. Overcoming your fear. And Sam and I had a meeting this week and we've decided that Jim will be the first to try and overcome it. And he doesn't know about this, but this is what's going to happen. He's got a fear of heights, everyone. So,
I'm the only one with that, am I?
No, I haven't got a fear of heights.
Neither have
I what do you call that? Planked off me building.
You did
600 foot high.
Well, you don't have to do that, Jim.
That's because you're an idiot.
What you are going to do next week is wrap sail down the side of a building, a little like this, a little like Tom Cruise did. You're going to do this next week, Jimmy. You're going to go down the side of a building out here, a huge high building, and you're going to wander down. And if you want to be in the running for $10,000, you've got to send your entries in. And if Jim does it, your club, footyshow.com.au, this is your local footy club. You're backing Jim to $10,000. If he does it, your club gets 10 grand. If he doesn't, you get $1,000. So put your entry in. Next week, Nissan Navara's Power of the Mind, Jim.
I'm telling you,
this will be the difference between a club surviving or not. If you do it, good on you.
Whichever club that is, look forward to the 1,000 jumping in games.
Jim, don't be puerile. Do you think that
you would do that? Would you run on the side of the building?
Just a minute. Do you think that you're just going to strap yourself on and do the pulleys? You're going to have experts harnessing you up. But here's the kicker, Jim. We haven't told you this. The kicker is you've got to do it.
I don't know about this.
No, you've got to do it dressed as Wonder Woman.
Oh, nice one. I like it.
You've got to do it dressed as this, Sheila. Oh, this lass. Now, you've got to go down that building, and I know the building. It's right near where my bed sitter is. Right near, and you've got to wear that down the side of the building. And I see them do it every week. It's a proper company that actually gets people to abseil.
Jim will probably enjoy that part of it, the dress up. But
Gary,
shut up, Lloyd's talking.
Hey, JB, I hate heights, but when it's a great charity like that, I would do it.
Oh, you do it, would you?
So
Righto, so there you go. You're going to have some training, and then next week on the show, Jim's going to wrap sail front, side,
abseil?
It's called wrap sail.
All right, abseil.
It's called It's Not Going to Happen, Gary.
No, hang on. We do every...
what does he do?
Well, what's he doing? Dressed up as Yo Go Yabba Wabba.
That took a lot of courage. Yo Gabba Gabba.
Look at that. Anyway, Jim, listen. You either do it and give some club 10 grand and make their year and maybe the history of their club, or you wimp out.
What
can
happen to you?
What can happen to you?
Will you be kitted up by experts?
On the ground.
No, God, don't be stupid.
All right, we're going to move on. We've got a game of footy to talk about here.
Next
West Coast
week it's on.
take on Hawthorn at Patterson Stadium. Absolutely flying, the West Coast Eagles. First on the ladder, undefeated, and have won 9, Lloydie, of their last 10 against the Hawks in Perth, if you don't mind. Scott Selwood's having an unbelievable season, or start to the season. Some changes here. Brown, Dalziel and Stevens come out. Have a look at the ins for the West Coast Eagles. Glass, Prittis and Rosen.
Hawks sitting 7th. Luke Hodge still missing with that calf injury a month into the season. Bruce out with that concussion. And Bradley Hill comes in. Lloydie, what's going to happen?
I just love the West Coast Eagles, Samuel, and just their pressure that they apply. Hawthorn's kicking is as elite as any team, but I reckon they'll shut them down. Elite, yeah. Just they're precise by foot, Sam. Elite, yeah. And they've got 8 or 9 left footers who just don't miss a target, but I think West Coast can shut that down and they can win.
Toughest game to pick of the round, I think. I'm just taking a guess, and I'm going to go with West Coast because it's over there.
Hey, Leeds, and the boys there. Darren Glass,
Bryce,
and
that's Matthew. You said and the boys over there.
I know the boys.
Well, you said Lids and the boys.
Well, I was sort of directing at Lids, but throwing it open to the boys. Darren Glass and Matthew Prittis rested last week.
Oh.
They were genuinely rested against GWS.
That's my point, Gary.
Well, that was GWS, so far a bit different, but I think they absolutely set themselves for this one.
Hawthorn?
Well, they would play for West Coast.
No, but they've set themselves.
Well, that would be Glass and Prittis, yeah.
But Gary,
I'm talking to Lids. I'm going to get his tip.
Just a second, Sammy. Yeah, I think they should be pretty fresh, Gaz. So I'm tipping, both teams have had pretty convincing wins last week, but I think West Coast at home, they'd be too strong.
8 or 9 left footers they've got. Did you know that? Hawthorn.
Yes.
Hawthorn have got 8 or 9 or 8.
I think 9, Sam.
Genuine left footers.
Yes.
That's extraordinary. That's weird.
Most in the back half.
In the back half, there'd be no room for
Deliberately
right
went
footers.
and found him, Foss, I think.
Give us 2, Sam. Just while
They deliberately went and found left footers.
and
Now,
sourced
Jim,
left
that's stretching.
They are, I think, quoted as saying that, are they not?
I'm not sure about that.
The best player in Australia, are you right or left-footed? Right-footed? No, I'm sorry.
They didn't have access to you.
Who are you tipping there, Forza?
I actually think that Hawthorn will go over there and win this. I do. But they're going great, the West Coast.
Bad news or bad luck for Max Bailey, of course, who's much loved Hawthorn players, had no luck at all. Had I think it was a wrist injury this year, and he's been placed on the long-term injury list anyway, so that means he's out for at least 3 months. The Hawks can elevate one of their rookies if need be. Cox and Big Nat Newey against an undermanned Hawthorn ruck division will get the job done. West Coast for mine.
Don't overlook those left footers, boy.
All the left footers. We're going to take a break.
Left footer.
Don't leave us because there's an unbelievable street talk still to come on the Footy Show.
Still to come on the Footy Show, Sam's on the prowl. Will he or won't he face up to his harshest critic?
But he's a pain in the head.
Yes, please.
Footy Show, great to have your company. Street Talk still to come. I just want to say thanks to our great friends at James Bogue's Draft. We've got the Churnside Park Footy Club here. Give everyone a wave, boys. That's enough. James Bogue's Draft, great supporters of local footy, and our panellists tonight, $1,000 goes back to their local footy club. Now we know yours, mate. You were the second best player to come out of Kyabram.
Yep, that's correct.
And who you still got folks at home?
Yeah, still mum and dad up there, so hello to mum and dad if you're watching.
So $1,000 going to the Kyabram Footy Club, and also Brycey, Plimpton Footy Club.
Yep.
South Australia.
Bulldogs.
Plimpton Bulldogs, they get $1,000 as well. So well done from that. Thanks to James Bogue's Draft. Very quickly want to mention the Nathalia Footy Club, not far from where we come from, Lids, Kyabram. They got badly washed out with the floods, haven't been able to get back on their footy club. So we'll throw in $1,000 to the Nathalia Footy Club as well. If they don't want to pay, then you're paying. Right up. That'll get stuck into Almost Footy Legends now, one of the highlights of our show. First game, West Perth versus Claremont. West Perth's Anton Saylor. Very nice specky over his Claremont opponent at the weekend. Nice work from Big Anton.
Here we go, Warrigal v Riversdale. Switching coach for a second, keep Robbie Nahas interested. We see an unbelievable goal here from the goalkeeper. Unsuspecting.
Come on, man.
It was their only goal for the season so far, would you believe?
Not a bad effort, that one. Warrigal v Riversdale. What about this last one here? The Riverton Roos, they're the blue team versus the red team. The under-6 intra-club action there. Young Josh attempting to kick his first goal in footy. Doesn't go too well for the young fella. Losing grip on the ball, then slipping on it as well. So, young Josh, he didn't quite get the job done. So we've got to take the vote. Audience participation. Who like number 1? Nice, Mark. Number 2, the soccer goal. Nothing. What about number 3, young Josh? There you go. Josh Cransby from Parkwood, West Australia. You have won this.
Thanks to James Bogue's draft, our weekly winner experiences the pure thrill of taking home $1,000 cash, while our runners-up receive $500 each. James Bogue's draft. The pure Tassie water makes everything better. At the end of the year, our runner-up pockets $20,000 cash thanks to Deep Heat, providing fast temporary relief from muscle aches and strains.
Deep Heat
Is the stuff of legends. Thanks to Home Timber and Hardware, our major prize winner drives away in the ultimate tradies ute. Valued at over $46,000, this powerful four-wheel drive is a tradie's best mate. It'll help you do a proper job next time you pick up your gear from Home Timber and Hardware. It's all thanks to our great friends at Home Timber and Hardware, Australia's only proper hardware store.
Yep, that's the best price in footy. If you want a part of it, TPO Box 9, Melbourne, Victoria 3001. Or go to footyshow.com.au to upload a video. It is that simple. The weekly prize is great. The prize at the end of the year is quite simply unbelievable. Now, we need to very quickly have a look at some video, but also some photos of our stars here to my left. Let's start with Brett Deledio when he was a young man playing at Kyabram.
Kai Bombers.
There he is.
Look at the hairdo.
What's going on there? Tall. Oh, now we see a nice lot blonder in those days.
Yeah, natural.
Yeah, but body shape still sort of similar.
Yeah.
So nice there, and that's me saying that, Gary.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how Brett used to roll up there at Kyabram. But we also have Bryce Gibbs, and this is rare, Gary, that we get video. But this has been sent in of Bryce Gibbs
Have a look how big he
totally
is.
dominating.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Twice as big as everyone.
Well, who are you playing for here? This is Plimpton?
Plimpton Bulldogs, yeah, the local club. Used to run around in the ruck, pick up a few touches.
What is this? Under what? Bracelet?
Under 11s.
You're about 6'2".
The granny.
This is the granny?
The granny.
How many did you have on this day? Don't tell me you don't know either.
I picked up a couple.
Possession-wise?
We got the win. So it's good to... there it is.
Oh, and the BOG.
No, I think that's just the granny medal, so... It's a good match.
Hey guys, he knew full well how many he kicked. He's very much a team player at the Blue Boys, but not at Plimpton. Let's roll some vision of Bryce Gibbs wanting the medal late in the game. This is him in the goal square. Watch this.
Oh, no. Come on, Bryce. He could have let that one float through.
No, I wanted that one.
Very nice work. Always good to see the young fellas. Lloydie, let's have a look at this next game. Adelaide v GWS.
Reacted savagely at the selection table. Brenton Sanderson omitted 3 players. Otten, Lynch and Kerridge, and John Cox out with a thigh injury. So a few younger players get their opportunity at the Crows. And at the GWS, it's a bit of a revolving door there. And Jeremy Cameron, their best young player, he's out with soreness. Toby Green, soreness, and James McDonald comes back from suspension, and Sean Edwards from Melbourne Grammar makes his debut, Gaz.
Right, anyone suggesting that GWS can upset Adelaide?
Just interesting to note, Lloydie said 8 or 9 players from Hawthorn kick with their left foot.
Yeah.
Deliberately recruited players with their left foot. Greater West Sydney have deliberately recruited people who can't play.
That is not right.
And in fact, he said he's wrong about Hawthorn.
What?
There is 10. Is that not right?
10 left-footers, yeah.
10 genuine left-footers.
In the team, yeah.
The Adelaide Crows, it's a twilight game between 5 and 7, I think, is it?
Adelaide game, 4:40.
Yeah, the Crows. They said to their squad, just turn up at some stage between 5 and 7 and have a hand in probably kicking a couple of goals, then have a shower and go away.
Well, they will win, no doubt about it. They'll be looking for improvement like the Gold Coast Suns improved last week, and they played the Brisbane...
Gary,
what?
You just need to hang on very quickly. I know what it says, but we've got to quickly acknowledge something that's just come to our attention, Gary.
Oh, yeah, we
It's not on the rundown.
Well, I know, but the young man, Brett Deledio here, just ticked over another year yesterday. Was your birthday yesterday?
Yesterday,
Happy birthday for yesterday.
Got a birthday gift, mate. That's from us here at the Footy Show. I know, just rip it off. No, this is better than the cake, mate.
Oh, that's terrific.
Show it. No, wrong way. Yeah.
What's it say, Brett?
Brett,
Happy
for God's
birthday,
sake,
Brett.
show the... Brett.
I'm just reading it out, Sam. Just a second. You are the best Kyabram has ever produced. Cheers, Gary. Thank you, mate. That is
look at
awesome.
that. You've given him a photo of yourself.
That'd be why it wasn't on the run there.
That is...
That's some of your very sharp work.
You gave him a photo of yourself.
That is magnanimous, Gary, saying you are the best Kyabram export ever.
Oh, Dick Clay might have something to say about that, Sam.
No, but
you would have played
look at
that
that.
issue.
Bloody good on you.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
That's it, parting with a photo of yourself to give to Brett.
Oh, mate, you
Sorry about
milked
that,
it
Brett. I
enough.
stepped over.
Honestly, go on, go one more. You got one more or not?
No.
No. Brisbane take on the Gold Coast Suns Saturday night. The Brisbane Lions lost to Freo by 29 points. They're pretty good over there, Patterson Stadium. Leuenberger out though. O'Brien, Longer and Beams. In come Hudson, Cornelius, Crisp and Simon Black back into this side.
Crisp.
Yeah, Crispy's in, which is nice to see. The Q clash, they take on the Gold Coast Suns, who were fantastic last week against Essendon. Led at three-quarter time. Gary Ablett was extraordinary, but he got plenty of support, which is what they want to see from the Gold Coast Suns. They have made just the one change. Campbell Brown back into the side. Mav Weller omitted, of course. Brisbane looking for some retribution because the Gold Coast cleaned them up last year. Yeah. Any chance at all?
I think Brisbane will win. I like Jonathan Brown. I think that he had a bit of bad one last week, Sam. Just the three disposals, I reckon he'll hit back and help them win this week.
Ricey?
Yeah, if Ablett can have another 40, which he's done in the first 3 weeks, I think they can go close, but Brisbane might get up, but it'll be close. No, I'm tipping my good mate Andrew Rains to curtail Gary Ablett and keep him to about 25 to 30, and the Lions will get up, so...
Oh, good luck with that, Rainsy.
My mail out of the Gold Coast, Gary, is they reckon they're winning this game. They're real happy with how they've set up.
Very good last week against the Bombers, no question about that.
And they won last year.
Carmichael played well.
Carmichael, he did too. Yeah, he did. The Gold Coast Suns don't like to travel though, so that'll probably that'll thwart them. Yeah.
Brisbane, for mine, I think they're going to win. Now listen, don't go away because Samuel meets up with an old adversary on Street Talk. That's next on the Footy Show.
Well, Carlton answered their critics.
Carlton win by 10 goals against the arch enemy. That is sweet.
Bucks has had his, and it might be time for me to answer mine.
Sam Newman, I cannot stand him. What would I do? I'd hit him. I'm glad his girlfriend ran over his leg, but he's a pain in the head.
Well,
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues.
Nice to meet you. You look great for an old geezer.
I'm looking for him.
That doesn't look like your type, mate.
When I tipped Collingwood to beat them, they hadn't beaten Collingwood at that stage. So cut us a bit of slack.
I'm giving you a bit of slack.
Could you feel a bit of compassion for the Collingwood supporters, sir? They're under the... I might open the comedy festival with that line. I'll say it on Thursday. I'll say I was wrong.
Thank you.
There's a woman there and
a photo of my little grandson with you, great grandson. It's only a little baby.
Well, no, you can't.
Oh, don't be so nasty.
No, bullshit. We're looking for this woman. You give us a look here.
I reckon.
Is this you?
No.
Good on you, Mum.
You seen that woman round?
And you when you get old.
All right, so I'll take that as a no. Is that her? Let me have a look here. No, that looks like it's her.
If anything to be Sam,
Yeah, well,
she was my mum's idol.
I was your mum's idol?
Yes, yes. He was.
We've found her. How are you?
Not bad, thanks, Sammy.
A bit of a bad side to me, but I've got a good side to me as well. I've just got to find the balance.
Yeah, what's the bad side we'd like to eradicate?
Oh, crikey, where do I start?
What do you think? Do you reckon we might be able to hit it off?
Oh, we might. Oh, yeah, for sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, why not, Sammy? Come on. Sammy.
It's going a lot better than last week. Doesn't
Come
look.
on, Phoenix.
Is that a boy?
He's beautiful.
Phoenix.
He's a beautiful
Doesn't
boy.
look like a boy.
Well, he's a boy.
What? I'm not allowed to hold little nippers in case I drop them and you sue.
Oh, we'll sue.
If I mean I get a bit of a belting everywhere I go, but how would
we
I
know.
improve?
Well,
Come
stop
on.
You want me to give you the honest truth?
Well, absolutely.
Don't make an idiot of yourself on the footy show. Oh, Becky!
That's all they ask me to do. They say come out and be a dickwit.
Oh, yeah, you come out and be a dipstick. Yeah, you
Dipstick,
carry
yes.
on. Oh, I don't know, Sammy.
Are you a kleptomaniac?
No.
That's, yeah, no, I think that's no.
Cut.
Collingwood have got a new delivery truck. You got a house? You got an apartment? A bed sitter?
No, I'm in the human service housing up in Lockwood.
Okay, well, I'll sweep round.
You've been given the address and all, mate. You better follow through.
I'll sweep by in the Lambo and pick you up. That should get the attention of the Human Services Housing Department.
Hey, you have to park out in the front.
Yeah, no, I will.
Get the front. Well, that's not very discrepant, mate.
Not very what?
Not very discrepant, no.
Not very discrepant.
Larry married that Italian girl with nice composture.
Yeah. Composture. I get just a group shot of our larger family. This is multiculturalism working at its best. Siraj, what? What's that, mate?
I said you need a bigger seat for your larger family.
Amongst the inanity of that man, that was quite sharp. So as we say farewell from Carlton, a tear comes to the eye as these two charming people from India, now a rendition of the Carlton theme song being sent back to the Punjab as we speak. He's put a flag on. He's put a flag.
Very nicely done, Force.
That irresistible charm. I won her over.
Didn't you?
Just it might have been the aftershave or just some of my sharp lines. That bloke who said he was a
Good and
discrepant. He said
yeah.
not very discrepant, whatever that meant.
That's right.
I think he meant discreet. I'm not sure. Maybe he was the only.
You won
one.
that lady over quick.
Oh, I
because
won her
she
over.
was
don't
savage on you last week. What'd you do?
Hey?
She was savage on you
I
last
know.
week.
It's just when people see me personally. I mean, it's just the magnetism.
Pheromones. Just worked her over. Geelong and Richmond is the game we need to take a look at now. Simmons Stadium on Sunday. Cats 11th on the ladder. Haven't spent much time outside the 8 in the last 5 years. Of course, 3 premierships in that time. Some changes. Kelly out with a groin. Hunt, Stokes, Schroeder and Stringer may come in. These are just squads at the moment. Joel Selwood is an unbelievably good footballer. The Tigers, as we take a look at Richmond, have not beaten the Cats since round 9, 2006. Tuck has played some nice football. McGuan, White and Graham are the ins. And we must quickly say that if he plays, David Wojcinski is set to play game number 200. Wojak, you're a star. Well done. All right. Lloydie.
Before you go, Lordy, you trained down at Geelong today, Brett, which is almost unheard of. I haven't heard of that before.
Yeah, lucky enough the Cats let us onto their ground. And,
They did.
Yeah, they let us on.
They trained. Richmond trained
On Skills Stadium.
On Skills Stadium today. How magnanimous
Simmons
of them.
Stadium.
Simmons Stadium, yes. Simmons.
Simmons, yeah, at the Simmons home.
Yes,
homes.
Simmons Homes.
And
Exactly.
Doug Wade's lost his stand, so you've got a big gaping hole at one end, and that's where the wind's going to come from.
What do you think of that, Foss, that they were allowed
I
to train?
think that's extraordinary. I mean, it doesn't. Would you do
Because
that?
there's a hole in the ground at one end, and they thought they'd go down and... Is that where you...
Yeah, there wasn't a breath of wind, so it didn't really amount to much. But
It's a hole at one end of the ground.
Doug's Wade's stand is not there anymore.
Sammy,
Who cares?
can I ask you a serious
I mean,
question,
we-
Sammy? Doug Wade's stand's been knocked down. They're not putting another one up in his honour.
Aren't they?
No. Do you
Who
reckon
said
that's wrong?
that? Who said that?
I just heard it from Geelong today.
What are they putting up in its place?
Oh, well, they're not looking to use anyone's name.
Forsler.
Anyone's. They're not going to go any individuals.
So there's no one's stand there's got its name after an ex-player or...
But a bit harsh on a bloke that's had one and then lost
what
it.
What did Doug think about that?
I know.
Your mate.
I don't
With a briefcase.
I know, Jim.
The apple.
That's extraordinary.
Well, can you get to the bottom of that for next
Oh,
week?
well, I'll delve into it. Why did you go down there? Because you wanted to see what it's like with the gap at the stand missing or something?
Nah, Sean Grigg's birthday, so he chose he wanted to go down there and train.
I don't know if you're making this up.
No, they did.
I'm going to write to the club.
Bryce, who do you think's winning this game?
I think the Geelong Cats will win.
Premiership flag unfurled, Lloydie?
Yeah, and they've been not great in key areas, Sammy. Contested ball, clearances, scores against dropped
Why do you
off.
address everything you say to me, mate?
Well, Gary, then. So
No,
I think
I like you
they'll
addressing
turn
it
it
to me.
round, I think, and yeah, too good a side to be 1 and 3. So I reckon
Do you
they'll
know,
win.
Samuel, the Geelong have only won 4 quarters for the year?
Well, what? Who cares, Gary? What does that mean?
Just an aside.
Will they come good, Sam?
Well,
they've won 4 quarters.
the Swans
as
have
the
only
reigning
won
premiers.
4 quarters.
Who?
The Swans have won 4 quarters.
They have.
Yes, they have. They kicked 20 goals in all of them to win the games. What's that mean? You could kick. You could
Well,
kick.
I'm going to explain to Samuel.
No, Gary, in 3 quarters you could be
It's
outscored,
unusual
and then
that
the
the reigning-
last quarter you kick a poultice and win every
The
game.
reigning premiers only won 4 quarters in 3 games of footy. I found that unusual. You don't. We're going to take a break, wrap up the footy show after. Welcome back to the Footy Show. Just a little heads up, you can now follow us on Twitter, which I'm not sure how it works, but you can. It's at AFL Footy Show. There you go.
Gary.
It's Twitter. Hey, Sydney have won 8 quarters, by the way, not 4.
Gary, can I explain
Well, you
this to
said
you?
4.
No, but mate, what I'm saying is,
No, mate.
if a side kicks 2 goals
I know what
to
you
1, and then 4 goals to 3,
I know.
and then 6 goals to 5, and then the side that hasn't won a quarter suddenly kicks 12 goals,
that.
they can win every game
I
by
know
only
that.
winning 1 quarter.
It's unusual, though. That
James Hurd has just run through,
has he?
said that they're not turning up at all to play Carlton. They're forfeiting because they want to make the blockbuster on Anzac Day count.
The Bombers will be there. Hey, thanks to Lloydie, Bryce Gibbs, and also to Brett Delidio for coming in. Good luck in the weekend. Don't forget, next Thursday night, James Brayshaw is going to wrap sail front on down the building.
Dressed as
Wonder Woman. All that.